Hello and welcome back to the Formula 1 chat. Unfortunately, we're bringing you a bit less of an exciting video today. We're here to talk about Imola, the Grand Prix that's been cancelled, and we'll talk about Monaco as well. We'll look ahead at next week. But yeah, we'll start with Imola then. A very sad news, of course, very sad news that the flooding in Imola does mean that the F1 Grand Prix has to be cancelled. I 100% think it's a correct decision, don't you?
Oh yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. You know, you see the pictures, you see the surrounding areas, completely flooded.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no debate really to be had.
No, and I'm glad F1 acted quickly because it minimises the impact of cancelling a Grand Prix. It means that people who had flights booked over to the event can not go to the event now, obviously. And with the flooding in the area, all efforts need to be towards the disaster relief and helping out the people who have been a victim of it rather than putting on a Formula 1 Grand Prix. So I think it's a really... It's 100% the correct decision. They've made no mistake, and for once, F1 have actually done well. We don't credit F1 often because a lot of the time it's like, what have they done here?
I don't think they had much choice in this decision.
No,
if they'd gone left race, we'd all be racing in dinghies.
They could have left it till Thursday. They could have done the media stuff and had people doing interviews and all that, and then after that cancelled it. I mean, you look back to Australia in 2020, obviously when we had coronavirus going on. They still did the media days and all that, and then cancelled it on the Friday. So, in this instance, they acted quickly. They've sorted out the problem fast. I think it's a very good decision from F1. I think their their quick decision making, should be praised. But yeah, shame to have no F1 on this weekend. There have been a few alternatives discussed. Do you like the sound of a virtual Grand Prix?
That would be brilliant.
It would be class.
I don't think all Trinity drivers would get involved though, but
no,
I'm sure they can find some people just to see.
But you could definitely get like F2 and F3 drivers involved as well.
Yeah.
And definitely get the 20 then.
F2 and F3 obviously not on either.
It'd be very weird if they were on.
No. I've seen pictures of the F2 paddock. It was like, under.
Yeah, the Feed Series paddock was completely submerged, wasn't it? So, yeah. Obviously, it goes without saying, our thoughts go out to everyone affected by the disaster. But, yeah. On a lighter note, virtual Grand Prix sounds good fun.
Cool.
Obviously, we know there are certain drivers that won't take part. No, that seems insensitive, though.
That's realistic.
It's like monsoon rain. Araba's there screaming.
Half a metre
on
of water just
comms.
wading through it.
Yeah, I think it'll be good. I don't know whether anything will happen, but hopefully. I think you'll definitely get like the Twitch quartet involved. And I know Max obviously will be interested in sim racing. Not that I've asked him, but we know Max enjoys sim racing, so he would probably get involved as well. So I think a lot of the grid would be happy to get involved. But yeah, F1 then, still not getting their 23 race calendar. Is this a curse? Are F1 just not supposed to have 23 races?
It's never going to happen.
Obviously, last season they aimed for 23. I think we ended up with 22, 21.
Because they had to cancel.
Well, China was cancelled, and I feel like there's another one cancelled, but I can't remember what.
Turkey.
No, Turkey was never on the calendar, was it?
I thought.
Turkey was discussed a replacement for China, but it never actually happened. But yeah, they just decided not to have a Grand Prix.
Certain replacements, it's a bit too late to replace Imola.
Literally, some people say, let's just track up the ride. Mugello's like a couple kilometres away, but yeah, Monza as well. Nothing's going on there this weekend. I think Mugello might be being used actually, which is why that wouldn't work. Obviously, you can't just decide to go to a track and have a race.
You can't race this weekend because we're here now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, or in general, you can't just go to a track and host a Formula 1 event. It's way too complicated for that. But yeah, I do think they'll put something on. Do you think they'll add in Imola this year? I mean, there doesn't seem to be any plans to.
Yeah, no.
It wouldn't make much sense to throw it in randomly. So this is probably going to be no Imola this year, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah, it's got a bit of history, but it's not very...
But obviously people are gutted we've got no F1 and people love Imola for the history and all that, but is Imola a bad circuit for the current era of Formula 1? Because I think the first year provided quite a lot of interest.
But again, the cars were
quite an exciting race. The cars were a little smaller, but also it's a new track. Carnage ensued. Didn't George Russell bend in a wall when he was in the points? Was that Mugello?
No, him and Bottas.
No, that was a year later.
Last year.
At Imola, yeah. When George was in, not last year, the season before, when George was in the Williams and Bottas was in the Mercedes. Obviously, they were fighting because Bottas was having a very off day. Yeah. But yeah, then they came together at Imola. That was only the second installation of Imola, I believe.
Yeah.
Was that the first? I can't remember, in all honesty. I get mixed up between Mugello and Imola as to which one's which, but in terms of history. But yeah, I think obviously Imola doesn't provide the most exciting racing. Obviously, though, we do see mistakes. You've mentioned Bottas and Russell. We've seen Ricciardo and Sainz clashed at turn 1 last season, and Leclerc's incident, and Tsunoda in qualifying as well. So it's a very difficult track, and I think that's why Imola represents such an interesting challenge. But I think F2 and F3 show why we need smaller cars, because look how well they race around Imola.
They haven't been there, have they? Oh, F2.
Yeah, last season F2 did. Imola
F3 haven't yet. I'm disappointed.
Roy Nissany was winning until he was like put it through the gravel and hit a sign, and then ended up going in the pits.
No, he crashed in the pit entry, didn't he? On the last corner, put it straight into the wall.
Yeah,
it wasn't very smart.
I forgot which Roy Nissany incident it was. There's a plethora to recount, but I do think we finally need to make the cars, we do need to go towards a smaller car. That's going to take time. You can't just shrink it down and suddenly we're in go-karts. But I think over time F1 need to push towards smaller cars. It's a shame because we've just changed regs and now we want to
make the cars smaller because the alternative is we go to bit different and bigger circuits, which we don't want.
Well, yeah, people. That's the thing.
Because they're usually man-made ones.
Yeah.
They're all man-made, aren't they?
That's why we keep going to more and more street circuits. It's because they are the only tracks that actually provide any interest.
Yeah.
Like Miami had the most overtakes this season. That's not because it provided an amazing Grand Prix. It's just because there was a bit of a mixed up order because someone crashed in quality because it's a street circuit, and that's the nature of street circuits.
It's getting up like Formula E, which can keep going to street circuits.
But even Formula E, they're mint at street circuits. Look at them go.
It works. They just keep going to street circuits.
Well, no, Formula E works because they've got tiny cars and no one wants to win. Like, yeah, it was 150.
Everyone wants to lose.
Well, no, they literally don't want it. I saw Jake Dennis talking about it in an interview where in FE they actually want to be like 5th and 6th or 6th in the pack. Yeah. It's really interesting that race strategy is such a big thing in Formula E. Whether that'll ever become a thing in Formula 1, I don't know.
We mentioned making the cars smaller and street circuits, so we should probably look ahead to Monaco.
Well, exactly. I think that ties in nicely with the FE point. Obviously, FE 160 overtakes will be lucky if we get one.
I think
in
F1. 5.
Oh, that's bold.
That is bold.
It's a bold prediction. I'll go 2.
All right. There's our only prediction.
And that's like actual overtakes, not you've passed someone while they're pitting. That's not an overtake. We'll see an actual pass after lap 1. Actual pass. Then we'll start counting them, because overtaking when they're side by side, waffle, mate. I want to see someone actually make an overtake at Monaco in these cars. I don't know if it's possible. I genuinely don't know if it's possible. But yeah, it's going to be interesting, Monaco. On the Saturday.
The
Sunday's
not
really
interesting.
interesting.
Saturday, obviously Perez, we had that whole incident with him spinning. Did he mean to, or was it an accident?
That was interesting.
And then Sainz saw him and got spooked and decided to spin as well. And obviously
in the year before, it was decided due to a crash, Charles Leclerc taking pole and then binning it and then needing a gearbox change and then didn't take a gearbox change. They tried to get out on pole and his car didn't work on the formation lap. Max Verstappen then took pole and ran away from Bottas, who somehow finished 7th, despite like 2nd.
That was 2 years ago, right? Because
he was second, wasn't he? And then he tyre thing. Pit stop.
Yes, so 2 years ago was. So last year was the Perez spin, which red flag quali, and then we had the wet weather Grand Prix where Ferrari forgot what pit stops were and how to pit properly.
Yeah, that was when Ferrari was just like deciding to not win the championship.
2 years ago was when Leclerc binned it to get pole and then ruined his gearbox.
And then Bottas.
So Monaco on the Saturday is always interesting. On the Sunday, if it rains, it's mixed weather.
Maybe
last year's Monaco Grand Prix was actually quite good.
Well, no one made an overtake, mate. It was only good because Ferrari threw it away.
Exactly, it was mixed weather.
But any competent team just pits their cars onto different tyres. There we go.
On different laps, so they double stacked, didn't they? For some reason, Leclerc's like, why on earth have we done this?
And then they both lost out to Perez anyway. Yeah. So that just didn't work at all. But yeah, Monaco is going to be interesting. I think if we look at the championship so far as well, this video is more of a substitute. We're supposed to have a preview out today. That was already recorded, ready to go, and then they decided that they weren't going to put on a Grand Prix, obviously, which completely understandable. But it does mean we need a bit of a quick video.
Yeah.
Took a look at the championship so far. Then Nick De Vries, this could have been a chance to prove himself. His 3-race out of 8 now has either been extended if it is going to be a third
Imagine,
race.
I wouldn't be done for him. Goes, well, now you've done 2 races.
Yep,
mate.
unlucky.
You should have done better. You should have got out and drove.
In fact, if he doesn't win the virtual Grand Prix, he actually is going to be unemployed.
Yeah.
But he could get Canada added to his 3-race thing. But ultimatum. And then obviously Sargent and Albon, the Williams pair. Do you think Imola would have been a good weekend for them? And could they benefit at Monaco?
I don't know. It depends, because if Albon can do what he usually doesn't qualify highly,
Exactly.
then he'll be right.
I think it'll matter a lot on qualifying. We've seen drivers like the McLarens who haven't really been that impressive, but they did all right in quali, so maybe they can hold on to good positions. We've seen how Max hasn't been great at qualifying this year. Could this be Checo's chance? Because if Max has another error in qualifying or gets unlucky again in qualifying, then could he find himself down the order and then he can't make 9 overtakes at Monaco. Yeah. And if he does, then let's just handle the World Driver Championship trophy now because he's too good.
You made more than 5 overtakes at Monaco and 1 Grand Prix.
Yeah. You won from 9th at Monaco and no one died. How is that possible?
I think Monaco will be interesting. I'll preview that properly next week.
In a week's time, of course, yeah. I'm hoping that we get a good Monaco Grand Prix. I'm not overly optimistic.
Now.
Yeah, well, we've got some other motorsport, don't we? IndyCar is on this weekend. I can't say I know much about IndyCar, but we were talking about it last week. So, let's get excited because it is the Indy 500 this weekend.
Exciting, to be fair.
I'm going to find out.
You know, it's got to a bad point and we've got into an F1 video and we're talking about Indy 500.
Okay, when is it? It's next Sunday.
Oh, what?
They start practicing today, don't they?
It was practice 4 last night at the time of recording. Wednesday night was practice 4.
Yeah. They've got 10 days till it gets started.
10 days of practicing? Bloody hell.
It's the Armed Forces qualifying day 1 on Saturday. And then, what on earth is the Miller Lite Carb Day?
It's racing,
what is
it's
that?
Rock and roll, it's pure bliss.
It's the ultimate turbo boost into the greatest weekend in racing.
Yeah, no, let's turn off. I've enough already.
And then the actual Indy 500's on May the 28th. Okay, I thought it was this weekend, but...
Well, that is hilarious. I genuinely don't. I'm going to sit around and just wait for the Monaco news.
Yeah, it's a shame. Mercedes, obviously, we're supposed to bring good packages, a big package this weekend.
We'll have to wait till Monaco to see that.
We'll probably have to wait till Spain to see them because I don't know what package is going to show at Monaco unless they've brought tiny cars. In which case they might just
bought a massive car and now I'm going to get past them.
Yeah, but they'd have to qualify on pole. I don't think a massive car can be very quick. Well, because if it's like a lorry, how are they getting around the first bend?
Park it there in quality. No one else gets a lap in.
Yeah, but then I go to practice times where they would have been last.
Okay, you can get one of them to go around the track at a really slow pace, get the other one to park in front of everyone else.
They're just slow them down a bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Fair enough. But yeah, that is all for this week video, I guess. Yeah. We've not a lot to talk about, which is a shame, but we will be back with a proper video on Monday. We'll find some time over this weekend to come up with something for Monday, because we have ideas in our, back catalogue, but a lot of them were not planned for today. We're not expecting the Imola Grand Prix to be cancelled, but yeah, that is all from us today. Then if you have enjoyed, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new around here. It massively helps us out. And of course, if you enjoyed our conversation or just want someone to talk to about how sad it is that Imola's been cancelled, then get involved in the comments below. Leave your thoughts and anything else about the Grand Prix, about next weekend, about Formula 1 in general, I'll talk about the cars being smaller, any of that sort of stuff, or about De Vries' 3 days ultimatum. Speaking of which, go watch our Nick De Vries video from Monday. We spoke about De Vries and his troubles. Or if you want to see us talk about F1's next young prodigy, then we did a video last Friday all about Oliver Behrman. But yeah, that is all from us today. Thank you all very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.